Good morning, class. Today, we embark on an extensive journey through the rich and complex history of the Star Wars universe, beginning with the era of the Old Republic. This period, predating the Galactic Empire by millennia, is a cornerstone of galactic history and sets the stage for the continuous struggle between the forces of light and darkness. Our discussion will delve into the formation and expansion of the Old Republic, the rise of the Jedi Order, and the emergence of the Sith, leading to their inevitable conflicts. First, let's explore the foundation and expansion of the Old Republic, a democratic institution that spanned thousands of star systems. The Old Republic was established following the unification of numerous star systems and planets, driven by a desire for a collective government that could oversee the vast territories of the galaxy. This alliance aimed to create a peaceful and cooperative society governed by principles of democracy and mutual cooperation. The Galactic Senate, the heart of the Old Republic's governance, comprised representatives from thousands of worlds. The Senate was tasked with creating laws and policies to ensure the smooth administration and prosperity of the Republic's sprawling territories. It served as the primary legislative body, making decisions through debate and democratic voting rather than force, marking a significant advancement in galactic politics. During this era, the galaxy saw significant advancements in technology and culture. The spread of knowledge and innovation was rapid, facilitated by the peaceful conditions and cooperative framework established by the Republic. Technologies such as hyperdrive allowed for fast travel between star systems, and advancements in communications significantly shrank the vastness of galactic space, making administration and governance more feasible. However, despite its ideals, the Old Republic faced numerous challenges. The vastness of its reach and the diversity of its membership often led to complex political dynamics and conflicts. Issues of corruption, bureaucratic inefficiency, and political maneuvering were recurrent, reflecting the difficulties of governing such a diverse and sprawling republic. The legacy of the Old Republic is profound, influencing countless aspects of galactic history. It set the stage for the ideological and physical battles that would later define the galaxy, particularly the conflicts between the Sith and Jedi Orders. The Republic's fall, leading to the rise of the Galactic Empire, marks one of the pivotal turns in the Star Wars narrative, deeply influenced by the precedents set during the Old Republic era. Following the Old Republic follows the rise of the Jedi Order, which emerged amidst the political structures of the Old Republic as a group of peacekeepers and mediators trained in the ways of the Force. The Jedi were deeply connected to the light side of the Force, emphasizing compassion, selflessness, and healing. They served as advisors to the Senate and were often called upon to resolve conflicts that could not be settled through conventional means. The Jedi were guided by a High Council, comprised of the wisest and most powerful Jedi Masters, who oversaw the training of new initiates and the maintenance of peace across the Republic. This High Council played a crucial role in shaping the Jedi Order's philosophy and operations, ensuring that their actions were always aligned with the greater good of the galaxy. The Jedi Code, a set of principles and guidelines, was central to their training and way of life. The code emphasized virtues such as humility, self-discipline, and the importance of serving others. These principles were designed to help the Jedi resist the temptations of the dark side and maintain their commitment to peace and justice. Contrasting the Jedi, the Sith were adherents of the dark side of the Force, embracing emotions such as anger, hatred, and ambition as sources of power. The origins of the Sith trace back to dissenting Jedi who abandoned the Order's teachings to pursue personal power and domination. Over centuries, these exiles evolved into the Sith Order, marked by a hierarchy that often consisted of a master and an apprentice. This dyadic structure ensured that each Sith would only pass on their knowledge to one successor, concentrating the power and preventing widespread dissent within the ranks. The Sith philosophy was rooted in the pursuit of personal power and the belief that conflict and struggle were essential for growth and progress. They believed that through the dark side, they could achieve their true potential and reshape the galaxy according to their vision. The philosophical differences between the Jedi and Sith orders inevitably led to numerous conflicts. These confrontations were not merely battles of physical might, but were also clashes of ideology. The Sith sought to overthrow the Republic and replace it with a regime ruled by the dark side practitioners. In response, The Jedi fought to preserve the Republic and its democratic ideals. These battles were cyclical, with periods of tense peace interspersed with violent conflicts, as each side tried to gain the upper hand. One of the most notable conflicts was the Great Hyperspace War, a galaxy-wide conflict between the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic. This war saw the Sith attempt to expand their influence and dominance across the galaxy, only to be ultimately repelled by the combined efforts of the Republic and the Jedi. The strategies the Sith utilized in their attempt to expand their dominion were integral to their growth. One of the most significant developments in Sith strategy was the implementation of the Rule of Two by Darth Bane, a Sith Lord who recognized that Sith infighting had often led to their defeats. This rule stated that there should only be two Sith at one time, a master to embody power and an apprentice to crave it, thus eliminating the possibility of betrayal among their ranks. This rule ensured that the Sith could operate in the shadows, slowly accumulating power and influence to eventually challenge the Republic and the Jedi. The Rule of Two allowed the Sith to focus their power and avoid the internal conflicts that had plagued them in the past. It also ensured that each Sith apprentice would be fully trained and ready to take on the mantle of Sith Lord when the time came, creating a continuous line of powerful dark side users. The Rule of Two eventually led into the duality of control in the Old Republic era. The legacy of the Old Republic era is profound, setting the stage for the narratives that unfold in the Star Wars saga. The foundational philosophies of the Jedi and Sith, the political structure of the galaxy, and the deep-seated conflicts established during this time echo through the ages, influencing the events of the later Galactic Republic and the eventual rise of the Empire. The historical records of this era, preserved through holocrons and ancient texts, continue to be studied by those who seek to understand the complex dynamics of Force users and the political entities of the galaxy. The era of the Old Republic is a testament to the enduring struggle between different visions for the galaxy, one of democratic governance and peace upheld by the Jedi and another of control and power, as envisioned by the Sith. This period is crucial for understanding the recurring themes of conflict and balance that are central to the Star Wars universe. Our next major topic is the rise of the Skywalker Legacy, beginning with Anakin Skywalker, a slave boy on Tatooine discovered by Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn. Anakin's transition from a promising Jedi apprentice to Darth Vader, the Sith Lord, under Emperor Palpatine's tutelage, lays the groundwork for the dramatic shifts in the galactic power structure. His actions lead to the downfall of the Galactic Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. Born a slave on Tatooine, Anakin Skywalker's potential was first recognized by Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn, who believed him to be the chosen one prophesied to bring balance to the Force. Despite initial hesitation from the Jedi Council, Anakin was trained as a Jedi under Obi-Wan Kenobi, showcasing prodigious prowess and a strong connection to the Force. Anakin's childhood was marked by hardship and a deep longing for freedom. His bond with his mother, Shmi Skywalker, was a significant influence on his character, and his desire to protect those he loved would later drive many of his actions. Qui-Gon Jinn's belief in Anakin's potential was unwavering, even when the Jedi Council expressed doubts about his future. Anakin's transformation into Darth Vader was not instantaneous but a gradual culmination of many factors. His exceptional abilities and the high expectations placed upon him created internal pressures that were exacerbated by personal losses and frustrations with the Jedi Order's restrictions. His secret marriage to Padme Amidala, which violated the Jedi Code, further complicated his life, creating a conflict between his duties and personal desires. Anakin's fall to the dark side was marked by a series of tragic events and manipulations. His visions of Padme's death in childbirth fueled his fear and desperation, making him susceptible to Palpatine's promises of power. The loss of his mother to Tusken Raiders also played a critical role in his turn to darkness, as it awakened a deep-seated rage and desire for vengeance. The decisive factor in Anakin's turn to the dark side was the manipulation by Palpatine, Darth Sidious, who exploited Anakin's fears and ambitions. Promising him the power to avert his premonitions of Padme's death, Palpatine provided a seductive alternative to the Jedi way, ultimately leading to Anakin's betrayal of the Jedi and embrace of the Sith identity as Darth Vader. Palpatine's influence was pervasive, as he positioned himself as a mentor and father figure to Anakin. He subtly undermined Anakin's faith in the Jedi Order, portraying them as weak and hypocritical. This manipulation culminated in Anakin's decision to betray the Jedi and participate in the purge that led to their near extinction. Anakin's actions had profound consequences, leading to the downfall of the Galactic Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. His legacy, however, is complex, as he remains a central figure in the Star Wars narrative, symbolizing the ongoing battle between the light and dark sides of the Force. His story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of power and the importance of choices, resonating deeply within the Star Wars mythology and among its fans. Anakin's journey reflects the broader themes of Star Wars, highlighting the impact of personal decisions in the face of moral dilemmas and the potential for redemption, which is ultimately realized in his return to the light side of the Force before his death. This narrative arc not only enriches the Star Wars saga but also offers insights into the complex interplay of character, choice, and destiny in shaping one's path. After the rise of Anakin, the timeline shifts into the Rebellion and the New Republic, where we see the rise of Anakin's children, Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. Luke, under the tutelage of the last Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, becomes a Jedi Knight. Leia becomes a leader in the Rebel Alliance. Their efforts culminate in the defeat of the Empire with the death of Emperor Palpatine and the redemption of Darth Vader. Leia Organa, a royal of Alderaan and a spirited senator, and Luke Skywalker, a farm boy from Tatooine, were thrust into the rebellion through personal losses and a shared legacy as the children of Anakin Skywalker. Under the guidance of surviving Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Yoda, Luke embarked on his transformation into a Jedi Knight, embodying the hope and potential of the Jedi return. Leia's journey was marked by her political acumen and unwavering commitment to the cause of the Rebel Alliance. Her role as a senator and diplomat allowed her to forge crucial alliances and rally support for the rebellion. Despite the destruction of Alderaan, she remained a beacon of hope and resilience. Leia's leadership and diplomatic skills were instrumental in unifying various factions and forming the cohesive Rebel Alliance. Their guerrilla tactics and covert operations were crucial in challenging the far-reaching power of the Galactic Empire. Notably, the Alliance's diverse and inclusive nature highlighted the widespread discontent with Imperial rule, drawing support from multiple systems and species. The Rebel Alliance's strategic brilliance was showcased in key battles such as the Battle of Yavin, where the first Death Star was destroyed by Luke Skywalker, and the Battle of Hoth, where the rebels showcased their resilience against overwhelming odds. These victories were pivotal in maintaining the momentum of the rebellion. The sign of the downfall of the Empire is punctuated with the Battle of Endor, where the strategic brilliance of the Rebel Alliance and the personal bravery of its leaders lead to the destruction of the second Death Star. This victory was not just a military triumph but also a symbolic win, with the death of Emperor Palpatine and the redemption of Darth Vader, who sacrifices himself to save Luke, thus restoring balance to the Force. The Battle of Endor was a turning point in galactic history. The coordinated efforts of the Rebel Alliance, the Ewoks, and key individuals like Han Solo and Princess Leia were instrumental in overcoming the Empire's formidable defenses. This victory marked the beginning of the end for the Galactic Empire. Following their victory, the rebel leaders established the New Republic, aiming to restore democracy and justice to the galaxy. However, transitioning from a rebellion to a governing body posed significant challenges, including dealing with the remnants of the Empire. The New Republic's efforts to solidify peace and build a government that reflected the ideals for which they had fought illustrate the ongoing struggle between maintaining power and adhering to democratic principles. The establishment of the New Republic was fraught with political challenges, as the leaders sought to create a stable and just government while addressing the lingering threats posed by imperial remnants. This period of reconstruction highlighted the complexities of governance and the need for vigilance in preserving the hard-won freedoms. As we transition from the era of the Galactic Empire, we enter a new and transformative period in the Star Wars universe, the establishment of the new Jedi Order and the challenges that followed. This era, spearheaded by Luke Skywalker, is marked by the revival of the Jedi Legacy and the emergence of new threats that test the resilience and philosophy of the reformed Jedi Order. After the fall of the Empire, Luke Skywalker undertook the monumental task of establishing a new Jedi Order. His vision for this new order was significantly influenced by his own experiences and the failures of the old Jedi Order. Luke intended the new Jedi to be more connected with the galaxy and its inhabitants, less isolated in their practices, and more flexible in their interpretations of the Force. This new philosophy was essential as the galaxy faced remnants of Sith teachings and other dark side entities that continued to emerge. The new Jedi Order embraced a more holistic understanding of the Force, acknowledging the complexities and nuances of the light and dark sides. This approach allowed them to better navigate the moral and ethical challenges they encountered. Luke's teachings emphasized balance and adaptability, encouraging Jedi to understand and respect the intricacies of the Force rather than adhering to rigid doctrines. One of the most significant threats that the new Jedi Order faced was the invasion of the Yuuzhan Vong, a warlike species from outside the known galaxy, impervious to the Force and possessing technology vastly different from anything the known galaxy had. This conflict was not only a physical battle but a profound ideological challenge, testing the resilience and adaptability of the new Jedi Order. The Yuuzhan Vong invasion was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the galaxy. Their biotechnology and brutal tactics posed a severe threat to the established order, forcing the new Jedi Order to adapt and find innovative ways to combat this new enemy. The Jedi had to rethink their strategies and utilize their knowledge of the Force in unprecedented ways to counter the Yuuzhan Vong's unique threats. The new Jedi Order's struggles against the Yuuzhan Vong and other dark forces helped forge a new generation of heroes who were pivotal in maintaining the galaxy's fragile peace. The series of events also highlighted the continual need for the Jedi as protectors of peace and justice, emphasizing that the legacy of the Jedi was an ongoing journey rather than a destination. The legacy of the new Jedi Order was marked by the rise of new leaders and the continued evolution of Jedi philosophy. Figures such as Jaina Solo, Jacen Solo, and Ben Skywalker played crucial roles in shaping the future of the Jedi and the galaxy. Each of these individuals brought unique perspectives and strengths to the Order, reflecting the diverse and adaptable nature of Luke's vision. Jaina Solo, for instance, became renowned for her combat prowess and leadership skills, often taking on pivotal roles in the new Jedi Order's military engagements. Jacen Solo's philosophical explorations led him down a complex and ultimately tragic path, reflecting the ongoing struggle between light and dark within the Jedi. Ben Skywalker's journey highlighted the challenges and responsibilities of carrying on the Skywalker legacy. Luke Skywalker's establishment of the new Jedi Order marked a new chapter in Jedi history, characterized by adaptation and the enduring battle between light and dark within the galaxy. This era enriched the Star Wars saga with new tales of heroism, sacrifice, and the perpetual fight for balance. The new Jedi Order's experiences and the lessons learned during this period continue to resonate throughout the galaxy, ensuring that the legacy of the Jedi remains a guiding force for future generations. Now we delve into a critical period in the history of the galaxy, focusing on the lives of the descendants of Luke Skywalker, particularly his son Ben Skywalker, and Leia Organa's children, Jacen and Jaina Solo. This era examines profound themes of legacy, the burden of heritage, and the perpetual battle between light and dark, encapsulated in the events of the legacy of the Force and fate of the Jedi periods. Set around 40 years after the pivotal events that led to the fall of the Galactic Empire, the legacy of the Force era introduces significant developments in the lives of Luke Skywalker's descendants, particularly focusing on Jacen Solo, the son of Leia Organa and Han Solo. This period, spanning nearly a decade, details Jacen's tragic transformation into Darth Vader. Influenced by the Sith Lady Lumia, Jacen believed that by embracing the dark side, he could prevent a future filled with chaos and bring peace to the galaxy. His journey into darkness led to dire consequences for the Skywalker and Solo families, culminating in a climactic confrontation with his twin sister, Jaina Solo, who undertook the painful duty of stopping him to save the galaxy. This historical narrative is not just about the fall of a promising Jedi but also reflects themes like the consequences of power, the impact of choices, and the heavy responsibilities that come with a significant legacy. The emotional and ethical dilemmas faced by this new generation of influential figures are vividly portrayed. Jacen Solo's fall to the dark side was driven by his desire to bring order and prevent future conflicts. However, his actions led to tyranny and devastation, illustrating the perilous path of good intentions corrupted by absolute power. His transformation into Darth Vader was a profound tragedy for his family and the galaxy. Jacen's descent into darkness is a pivotal exploration of how fear and a desire for control can lead to catastrophic outcomes, echoing the journey of his grandfather Anakin Skywalker. Following the tumultuous events of the Legacy of the Force era, the fate of the Jedi period explores the aftermath of the galactic upheaval caused by Darth Vader. Set 2 years after the demise of Darth Vader, this era follows Luke Skywalker and his son Ben Skywalker as they embark on a galaxy-spanning odyssey to understand the reasons behind Jacen's fall to the dark side. Their journey also aims to mend the rifts caused within the Jedi Order by Jacen's actions. During this period, new threats emerged, such as the enigmatic Sith tribe and the dark entity Abeloth, adding layers of complexity to the galaxy's already intricate political and social dynamics. The narrative examines the impact of Jacen's legacy on his family and the broader universe, exploring how key figures navigated their roles in a galaxy continuously shaped by the forceful personalities and decisions of its most powerful beings. The fate of the Jedi period also explores the mysterious entity Abeloth, a powerful dark side being that challenged the very fabric of the galaxy's reality. Luke and Ben's quest to understand and combat Abeloth was a journey of discovery, highlighting the complexities and dangers of the Force. Abeloth's introduction brought a new level of existential threat, as her power and influence disrupted the natural balance of the galaxy. Both periods significantly developed the Star Wars universe's historical narrative, providing depth to its central themes and offering scholars a rich tapestry of lore that examines the consequences of the Skywalker legacy. These stories are essential for understanding the full scope of the challenges and burdens faced by those who carry the Skywalker name and their continuous fight to maintain balance in the Force amidst personal and cosmic conflicts. The stories of Jacen and Jaina Solo, along with Ben Skywalker, delve into the heavy burden of heritage. As descendants of Anakin Skywalker, they grappled with the expectations and responsibilities that came with their lineage. The perpetual battle between light and dark was a central theme, as each character navigated their own relationship with the Force and the legacy left by their ancestors. Jacen's fall and Jaina's struggle to redeem or defeat him highlighted the complex dynamics of family and the influence of heritage. Ben Skywalker's journey, guided by his father Luke, was one of understanding and reconciling with the past while forging his own path. Impact on the galaxy and the Jedi Order. The events of the Legacy of the Force and fate of the Jedi periods had profound implications for the galaxy and the Jedi Order. The aftermath of Jacen's reign as Darth Vader left the galaxy in a state of turmoil, with the Jedi Order needing to rebuild and reassess its role. Luke Skywalker's leadership was crucial during this period, as he sought to prevent further divisions and guide the Jedi towards a more balanced and enlightened future. The introduction of the Sith tribe and Abeloth posed new challenges that tested the resilience and adaptability of the Jedi. These threats required the Jedi to evolve and develop new strategies to maintain peace and stability in the galaxy. The ongoing struggle against dark forces underscored the Jedi's enduring mission to protect the galaxy from those who sought to exploit the Force for their own gain. Last, we will explore the rich and intricate tapestry of stories known as the Legends Continuum. These narratives, once part of the official galactic history but now classified as just folklore, extend the timeline up to and beyond the era of Luke Skywalker's grandchildren. They offer profound insights into the legacy of the Skywalker family and the broader struggles within the Force. In the Legacy of the Force period, we witness a dramatic turn in galactic events with Jacen Solo, the son of Leia Organa and Han Solo, who ultimately becomes Darth Vader. His transformation is driven by a misguided belief that he can prevent future galactic wars through authoritarian rule. This era explores his descent into darkness and the devastating impact it has on his family and the galaxy. The pivotal moment comes when his sister, Jaina Solo, is forced to confront and stop him, illustrating the tragic dimensions of familial conflict and the personal costs of power. Following this, the fate of the Jedi period continues the narrative, focusing on Luke Skywalker and his son Ben as they seek to understand and rectify the consequences of Jacen's actions. Their journey across the galaxy involves confronting new threats like the enigmatic Sith tribe and the dark entity Abeloth. This period expands on the philosophical underpinnings of the Force, introducing complex new characters and exploring the repercussions of the past, all while dealing with a mysterious psychosis spreading through the Jedi. Both periods are deeply entrenched in the philosophical questions that have always underpinned galactic history. They examine the implications of legacy, not just the heroic legacies of the Skywalker and Solo families, but also the darker legacies left by choices made in the name of perceived greater good. Characters like Cade Skywalker, a descendant of Luke, emerge in other Legends tales, grappling with the Skywalker legacy while carving out their own paths within the Force. These stories often depict their protagonists in the throes of moral and existential dilemmas, reflecting the overarching themes of destiny and redemption. Cade Skywalker, for example, struggles with his heritage and the burden of being a Skywalker. His journey is marked by a reluctance to embrace his destiny and a desire to forge his own path. His story highlights the ongoing struggle between embracing one's legacy and forging a new identity. The Legends continuum has significantly enriched our understanding of galactic history. It provides complex narratives that challenge the binary view of good versus evil, offering a more nuanced look at characters and their motivations. This extensive universe allows scholars and enthusiasts to explore alternate timelines and what-if scenarios that bring depth to the already beloved historical accounts. For those interested in delving deeper into these stories, the extensive collection available, including detailed chronologies and character studies, offers a comprehensive look at the vast and varied tales within the Legends canon. These stories, while no longer considered official history, continue to be cherished by many and serve as a testament to the enduring appeal and expansive potential of the Star Wars universe. The Legends universe is home to countless stories that expand on the rich lore of the galaxy, providing a diverse array of narratives that explore the complexities of the Force, the struggles of its users, and the ever-present battle between light and dark. These tales offer a deeper understanding of the galaxy far, far away, and the characters that inhabit it. In conclusion, our journey through the vast and intricate history of the Star Wars universe has highlighted the profound and enduring legacy of its key periods and characters. From the foundation of the Old Republic, a democratic institution that spanned thousands of star systems, we have seen how the philosophical and political frameworks established during this era laid the groundwork for future conflicts and alliances. The rise of the Jedi Order, with its commitment to peace and justice, and the contrasting emergence of the Sith driven by the pursuit of power, set the stage for the timeless struggle between light and dark. We explored the dramatic transformation of Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader and the subsequent rise of his children, Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, who played pivotal roles in the defeat of the Galactic Empire and the establishment of the New Republic. Their stories, marked by personal sacrifices and heroic deeds, exemplify the themes of redemption and the impact of choices on the broader galactic narrative. As we moved into the era of the new Jedi Order, we witnessed Luke Skywalker's efforts to revive the Jedi legacy amidst new threats such as the Yuuzhan invasion. This period highlighted the resilience and adaptability of the Jedi as well as the ongoing need for vigilance and innovation in the face of unprecedented challenges. The narrative continued with the complex and tragic arcs of Jacen Solo's fall to the dark side as Darth Caedus, and Jaina Solo's struggle to stop her brother, reflecting the heavy burdens of legacy and the ethical dilemmas faced by the descendants of the Skywalker lineage. The fate of the Jedi series further expanded on these themes, introducing new threats and exploring the intricate dynamics of the Force. Finally, the Legends continuum enriched our understanding of the galaxy far, far away with a plethora of stories that delve into alternate timelines and the moral complexities of its characters. These tales, while no longer considered part of the official canon, continue to be cherished by fans and provide a deeper, more nuanced exploration of the Star Wars mythos. In essence, the Star Wars universe is a rich tapestry of interconnected stories and complex characters, spanning millennia and exploring profound themes of light and dark, legacy and redemption. Each era adds depth and nuance to this epic saga, offering timeless lessons and insights. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history of the Star Wars universe. May the Force be with you.